Exhibit A. Remind me, I may forget in my forgetfulness, but I need to talk about this. Exhibit A. So, if you got your Bibles, Isaiah chapter 30. So I've got down 1920. It's really 1920 and 21 we're going to read, but I want to read a little bit extra about this. So I'm going to just start in Isaiah. Did I say Isaiah 30? Yeah. Okay. So, woe to the obstinate children, declares the Lord. So Isaiah, he's prophesying here. To those who carry out plans that are not mine. Ever done that? Carried out plans that weren't God's? That you knew better? To carry out plans that are not mine, forming an alliance, but not by my spirit, heaping sin upon sin, who go down to Egypt without consulting me. To look for help to Pharaoh's protection, to Egypt's shade for refuge. But Pharaoh's protection will be to you your shame, and Egypt's shade will bring you disgrace. And then it goes on and it talks more, and it says, all the different things that these Israelites have done and how they've walked away and they've turned an ear to other things that tickled their ear, and they forgot about talking to God or to be in constant conversation with God. And then he goes on, say verse 12. I just want to get you an idea, the setup here. Because you have rejected this message, relied on oppression, and depended on deceit, this sin will become for you like a high wall, cracked and bulging, that collapse suddenly in an instant. It will break into pieces like pottery, shattered so mercilessly that among its pieces not a fragment will be found. So this doesn't sound good. And this is what the Sovereign Lord says, the Holy One of Israel says, and repentance and rest is your salvation, and quietness and trust is your strength, but you would have none of it. And you said, no, we will flee on horses, therefore you will flee. You said, we will ride off on swift horses, and therefore your pursuers will be swift. And 1,000 will flee, and it goes on, it continues on, and Isaiah is speaking this. This is a prophecy, and it doesn't sound good. Does it sound good? It sounds like the Lord is a little uptight with his people, because there's some stuff, and we're going to talk about all this. We're going to go back in time and kind of see what's going on. But listen to this, and I want you to stand. You need to stand up for this. Verse 19, all this stuff. He says, for the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are those who wait for him. Now get this. O people of Zion, who live in Jerusalem, after all this that was said, you will weep no more. The message says, your time for crying is over. How gracious he will be when you cry for help. As soon as he hears, he will answer you. Although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teachers will be hidden no more. With your own eyes you will see them. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. That is a promise. That is a prophecy. He who has an ear, let him hear. This is a prophecy to them and to you as well. We can sit down. This is going to be good. This is a promise. We hear about promises of God. This is a promise of God. Your tears, the time for tears is over. It's over. You will cry no more. This time of crying, it's done, God says. Even though all this stuff that you were doing, come on now, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to do something for you, but this is what you've got to do for me. And so, God, let me just read this in case you missed it. As soon as he hears, he will answer you. Although the Lord gives you bread of adversity and water of affliction for your teachers will be hidden no more. With your eyes, your own eyes, you will see them. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. behind you. What I'm saying today is to them. What I'm saying to you is he's behind you. God has your back. God has your back. Remember that. And so it's good to know, okay, so he's going to be behind me. God's got my back. That's good to know. But we have a job. We have to be in constant, close conversation with God. We have to be. I cannot spend 5 minutes a day talking to God and walk away and come back and go 23 hours and 55 minutes and then come back. That's too much time for me to get in trouble. And so do you not agree?
Yeah.
I prove it daily. It's too much time. If I choose not to talk to God or to think about God, to have it constantly be moving in my mind as I'm doing my stuff. If I spend 5 minutes a day talking to God, that's not enough. That's not constant conversation with God. That's not close conversation with God. And I know we all fall short in that area. What I'm saying is, whatever we do, I challenge you to do more so that you can hear God as he moves, as he wants to do things in your life. 5 minutes gives me, in a whole day, gives me way too much time to get in trouble. And I do. And I will. Exhibit A. Right? Remember it. So, it's kind of like, I guess we turn to other things is because we turn to, and so, and we'll get to it. I guess it's like this. If you saw me going like, you're going, what are you doing? Right? Well, you know what? I studied this, I Googled this. This is what happens in a 24-hour stretch. You take 20,000 breaths a day. That's what you average. That's what you do. And so what I'm doing, I got a lot of stuff to do the rest of this day, and I don't got time for the breathing, so I'm going to get it out of the way so I can do all my stuff. That sounds ridiculous. Does that not sound ridiculous? I'm getting it all out of the way. That sounds ridiculous. But that's the way we do it with worship. I'm going to get it out of the way. Get it out of the way because I got stuff to do. And I do that. I do that. When I'm speaking up here, understand I'm not pointing a finger at anyone except myself. It's always. That's why it affects me so much, because it's God speaking to me. And so here I am. I got so much to do. I'll get rid of my breathing right now. And then because I got so much to do, I don't got time to breathe later on. That sounds ridiculous. You can't do that. But that's what we do with worship. Whether it's prayer or praise, concentrating on the things of God. Let's get it over with because I got busy. I got things to do. It doesn't work like that. But that's what we do. We are supposed to be in close conversation, close proximity with God. And so what we read here in Isaiah chapter 30, at the beginning, it talks about God is a little upset, frustrated, whatever it might be, whatever the word that he would be able to tell you he was feeling. It didn't sound good. He's upset, like, come on, you guys, kind of feeling. Or even more, because what has happened? See, there's a king. His name is Hezekiah, King Hezi. And he is a good king. Israel's had a lot of bad kings. Well, he's a good king whose mind was on God. But even if you're a good king, you can do stupid things. Even if you're a good parent, you can do stupid things. Right? You've done some stupid stuff as parents? We've never done anything stupid. Well, you just lied. So now there, in front of everyone. So we can do some silly, stupid things even though we're good people, or good parents, or good kings. And so this good king named Hezekiah, he was good. But what had happened was the Assyrians had overtaken. They had laid plunder against, they had overtaken the northern part of Israel. They had come in and placed siege on them and wiped them out. And Hezekiah saw what was going on. He heard what was going on. And what did he do? Talk to God about it? No. He went to the king of Egypt. He went to the Pharaoh. Now, when we think of Pharaoh, we think Pharaoh, right? We know that. But this is not that. See, Pharaoh is a title. It's not his name. And so this Pharaoh that we're thinking about, let my people go free, that was centuries before. But here we are still, Egypt's still around, and they got some pharaohs, they got some kings. And so Hezekiah, rather than go to God, he has gone to Egypt, to the king, to get protection from these Assyrians because he's worried that they're going to come and do the same thing that happened to the northern part of Israel. And so they go there. And what do you do when trouble comes your way? What do you do when trouble comes your way? Think about it. How do I react when things that are out of my hands comes my way? What do you first do? And it's in, and so we do all kinds of things. We talk to everyone. We bring it up with everyone. And understand this. Before you were even formed, God spoke you into existence. And as you were formed into the womb, and before you even stepped into the world, God spoke the world. God spoke everything into existence. You step into what he spoke into existence. If he didn't speak it, you're not stepping into it. God doesn't start something that he doesn't finish. And so this is how it's happening. And so he's the one that spoke everything into existence. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3, I think it is. It says that the invisible has created the visible. And so the invisible being God, I can't see him. I see the effects of God. I can't see the wind, but I can see the effects of the wind. So it is, the invisible has created the visible. He has spoke everything into existence, and that I walk into it. If he didn't create it, he's already got it going. I step into it. Why do we go to everybody else when things go wrong in our life? And so we phone so many people. I don't know, I don't really do this, but I think a lot of people do. They phone this person to get some advice, and they phone that person. And that doesn't mean that you can't get good advice. But they start phoning everybody to the point where they start getting blocked on their phones because they don't want to talk to you anymore. And then finally, after you exhaust everything else, maybe we should bring it up to God. Maybe we should talk to God about this. But that's backwards. But we do it because we do it this way because we take something that's going on in our life that's not good, and we're supposed to take it to someone that we can't see. And that thing that we're taking to that person, that being that we can't see, that thing that we're taking is all we can see. That trouble is everything that we can see, and I can't even see the person I'm taking it to, so that's why we don't do it. It's so easy to take it to, let's go to that king. But even an attendant of the Assyrian army in 2 Kings somewhere, chapter 19, I think. Don't quote me on this, but there was an attendant of the Assyrian army who said, Hezekiah went to the king of Egypt. He's going to lean on his splintered staff. The only people that lean on him get pierced. That was an attendant of the Assyrian army. He's like, that's a bad choice. But we make bad choices when things come our way and we don't know what to do, and we're not in close conversation with God. Hezekiah didn't have God. God might have been on his back, behind him, but he was a ways away, and he couldn't hear for God's direction. And so he started making bad decisions. And when you don't pray, it leads to paralysis. When you don't pray, you get paralyzed. And we're called to pray. And that is, where worry, and I've done that, where you worry, that takes the place, that takes the space where prayer was supposed to fill. When you worry, that fills the place and the space that prayer was actually supposed to fill. And so Hezekiah is like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to I'm going the wrong direction. Even those guys say it's bad. But I'll do whatever I can because I can't see an answer from a person I can't see, so I'm going to go to someone that I actually can see to fill my needs, rather than to move forward in faith to help my faith grow, to move forward in what God wants, but he's making bad decisions. Sort of like the children of Israel going into Canaan. And they walk in and see, the problem is, they have, and same with Hezekiah, same with this nation of Israel, they are walking into a situation, but they are forgetting who is walking with them into this situation. They think they're walking in alone. They forgot who's walking with them. God's got your back. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. Verse 21, this is the way, walk in it. And so they forget. So you walk into a situation, you're overcome, and you're not that close to God, and maybe you did 5-minute devotion in the morning, and now you've got 23 hours and 55 minutes, and so I'm a little ways away from God right now. Even though he's got my back, he's back there, and I'm not close to him, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, and so you make some bad decisions. But God's got your back. So, we get all sideways, making these bad decisions, but then along the way, and after we tried a few things, we come back to God, and you can see, wow, all these things, they did a lot of bad things, they did a lot of bad decisions, but then God says, people of Zion who live in Jerusalem, you will weep no more. How gracious he will be when you cry for help. Now, as soon as you get it together, he will hear your voice. As soon as you go fix up some of those relationships you messed up on, he will answer your cry. As soon as you get married, he will answer your cry. As soon as you have children, he will answer your cry. As soon as you get your finances straightened away, he will answer your cry. As soon as you just get your life together, come on now, he will answer your cry. No, it doesn't say that. No, it doesn't say that. As soon as he hears, he will answer you. This is a promise. And you go, well, I don't know. I've cried out and I haven't heard it. I'll tell you what. As soon as you call out, you will hear it. And that doesn't mean, so say if you're going to school, we don't have anybody here. Well, honey, you're going to school. It doesn't mean, so you got finals coming up, and you go, I'm not studying for these tests. And then you get into the place where you're going to write the test, and you say, God help me. God doesn't work like that. What you got to do is to pray to God to help you study when you want to play video games, or when you want to go and go hunting, and that's okay to go hunting, but you got to study. God help me to study. I need the help here. And that's, God will help you in that area. God will help you in it. He doesn't help you when you just negligence whatever, and here I am in test time, and oh, God help me. God doesn't really work that way. But if we do our part, and go ahead and keep him close to us, then he will, as soon, and you know what? It's not as soon as you hurt, he's going to help you. As soon as you cry out to him, as soon as he hears your cry. It's not as soon as you hurt, because hurt does not attract help. Do you know what attracts help? Praise, prayer, faith. That attracts help. Hurting does not attract help. You have to cry out. You have to ask for it. And he says this, although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teachers will be hid no more. And so this is funny because they give food and compare it to adversity and affliction, because this food will build you up through the affliction. And all this trouble, these trials, this food will actually build you up and make you stronger. It doesn't look good right now, but it's going to turn out good. Trust me on this. I'm going to build you up through this. And so, this is, if we stay away, if we worry, well, that takes the place of where prayer should have been. We fall short, and we start wandering around, and we start swimming in the open sea, and we're nowhere near God. And this is not where he wants us to be. And so Hezekiah, he gets it figured out, and he goes with him and Isaiah, and they go before the Lord, and God says, thank you. Thank you for crying out. As soon as you cry out, know this, I have your back. This is the way, walk in it. And so God sneaks into the Assyrian camp with an angel. He sends an angel into the Assyrian camp, and 185,000 soldiers were slaughtered that night. God's got your back. God has your back. But we tend to, each and every day, it seems like something comes our way, and we go this way, and we go that way, but God's going, I'm right here. But we don't see him. And so it's hard to go to someone that we can't see for something, a problem, which is all we can see. And so he's saying, trust me, I'm here. And he will direct you. Whether you turn to the left, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. And so, direct. This is, before I even get into this, I want to use Exhibit A here, because I'm going to go by it and not be able to tag back into it. If you're not close to God, if you're not in constant conversation with God, and you know what? You can get away with it with today's technology. You can put in earbuds, and you can be walking and just talking, and they won't take you to the loony bin. Right? They'll just sing, because that's what they do. I've saw people walking and they're singing or talking, and I'm like, what are they talking about? But they're talking on the phone through their iPod or whatever it is. You know, so, or you can have it in you can be listening to it and singing, singing praises to God in your car, and have those AirPods in, and people, oh yeah, and so you won't get in trouble that way. You won't look kind of weird. You can get away with it with today's technology. And the further you get away, that if you do the 5-minute thing, and I probably did it on Friday, I probably did the 5-minute thing because I got a lot to do. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to get the breathing out of the way because I got a lot of stuff to do. And so I probably got the worship out of the way. I guarantee I did. And then I had a lot of stuff to do. And then I went, because the further you get away, people can wreck. Because the further you get away from God, it's so easy for people to wreck your peace. You find it? When you're not in close conversation or close to God, people can just come up and do a little thing and wreck you and make you angry or frustrated. Does that happen to you? It happens to me. And so it's been a busy morning, and I'm in town, and we got no time. The city's got an appointment at 1:30, and we get out of, I don't even know which appointment that was a waste of time. And so anyways, I'm already losing it a little bit. Have short patience. I know you guys think I have it all together, and I don't. And so I got all the breathing out of the way for all these things. Well, let's go to Oliver for something to eat. Okay, we got a little bit of time. We got an hour. We can go there. Hour. Settle down. And I get there, and I had a drink, and Cindy had a drink, and then the drink's all gone. And we're still waiting some more. And I did that 5-minute thing, remember, not in close conversation with God. I'm further away from Him than I need to be. God says, I have your back. This is the way, walk in it. And He does have my back, but I got away from Him. He's back here, and I'm not in close conversation with Him. I'm not singing praises to Him. I'm singing praises, but no, I'm singing war songs because I want to kill somebody. Because it was an hour, and I still hadn't been served yet. And Cindy has an appointment at 1:30, and she's got to leave, and we got 10 minutes left, and the server comes down, and she's just like doing whatever. She's brutal. And I said, don't give her a tip. I said, no, I didn't say that. I said, don't tip her like 20% because she doesn't deserve it. And I'm starting to froth. Long ways away. I got your back. I got your back. But I can't even hear it now because I'm so far away from God. I'm so far, I can't even hear anything. All I can hear is farting now. And she said, oh, it'll be really quick. And I was like, anyways, it shows up. And she's got to go. She said, I don't even have time to eat. And Cindy handles it way better than me. She's got it together. I pick on her, but she's got it together. And I'm frothing at the mouth, rabbit. And it's like I don't get to sit and eat with my wife out very much. And so this was the one time or whatever a month that we'll get to eat. And she had to leave. She said, I can't even eat it. I got to go. Can you just box it up? And so I ate the just whatever. And we paid for it already. And anyways, and then she's got her Greek salad and whatever, a taco, something or other. And they brought up, the poor girl, and I just said, this is brutal. I won't be coming back. Anyways, I know. Please don't. Forgive me. And so they put the little thing, you can put stuff in and your carry-away case. And I just stole it. I put the little thing in. I've never stole anything in my life. I took this thing. The bowl. And I want to entitle the sermon, I Stole the Bowl. But I didn't. But I said, you know what, to myself, I don't even care who's looking. There's this Greek salad in there. What am I supposed to do? Dump it out in that thing, that paper tray, and it's going to be oozing all over the place? So I put the whole thing in, slammed it. I don't care who's looking. Well, I picked that thing up and I walked out and did, I stole the bowl. I've never stolen anything in my life. I stole something. I actually stole it. I got to take it back this week. So anyway, I wasn't close. I was not close. Even though God has my back, He will be behind me. I was so far away from Him, I was making bad decisions. Hezekiah was far enough away from Him that he was making bad decisions. And so I came back and I got it together, just like Hezekiah got it together. I'm in a smaller little portion size than him. He's got a whole, but I'm a pastor, y'all. I'm stealing bowls. That's bad. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm taking it back. I'm honestly taking it back. But I was so mad. Do you see what I'm saying? We got to be close to Him. We got to be close to. And so, when it comes to God directing you, and I guess it's pick on Marty Day because God will direct you, but I'm terrible with directions. And so, I'm a good driver. I just don't know where to turn. Okay? I don't get in accidents. I just don't know where to turn. And so when we're in Abbotsford, and that's the one town that I actually knew how to get around in, and I haven't been there for a while, and Cindy's been there for hockey and stuff, so she's up to date on, the circles.
Roundabouts?
Roundabouts. Yeah. And so there used to be, I remember up by King Road, there was a roundabout coming off, I think it was McCallum. There was a roundabout there. And to go to Ed's place, Ed Summers' place, we had to take whatever. But now there's two. And so I'm driving. I got Abbotsford down. I got my chest out. I know how to drive in the city. It's the only one I know how to drive in. And so I know how to drive here. And so we come down to the first, I thought it was the first roundabout, but it wasn't. We were coming up from the bottom side past the hospital. There's two of them there, I guess. Anyways, I got all mixed up. She said, it's not this one. It's not this turn. It's the second one. No, it's not. No, it's not. And so, okay. She just kind of lets you. And so I took the wrong turn. I get in the wrong circle, went off. And God is like that too. When we take a wrong turn. He's like, okay, you can do it. I still got your back. All these things that we read about, man, this Israel, they're doing a lot of wrong things, but He's still there. And He says, you will cry no more. I'm stepping in. But you got to get close to me. You got to hear my voice. And so it's easy to get off on direction because this is one of the biggest obstacles you will have, one of your biggest challenges you will have in your life is that we tend to memorize the miracles that God does in our lives. We tend to memorize them. So what worked when you were a parent of young children may not work when you're a parent of teenagers. And so this is what God did when we were young. And so this is what He's going to do. No, we get caught up, we get paralyzed, and this is only what God can do, and He did it, and He's going to do it. No, we got to learn that things are always changing, and circles are always changing. And we got to learn to fly with God, but He's got to be close to you. Because He said, no matter if you turn to the left or to the right, I have your back. This is the way, walk in it. No matter if you turn to the left, and we get paralyzed, right, when it comes to decision time. What we're going to do. Should I go to, I don't know, Santa Fe? Should I go to one of the universities? Should I go to UBC? Or should I go to, what's some other ones down there? I don't know. Simon Fraser. Should I go there or should I go? They're both good universities. They're both fine. Should I go to TRU? Or should I go to UPEI? Or should I go to, they're all good places. Should I go to Likely Chapel? Or should I go to Caribou Bethel? They're both good churches, but we get paralyzed. But it's not about sometimes, both paths are okay. Whether you go to the left or the right. It's not about the path you've taken many times, it's how you walk in the path. And so you can come, and Likely Chapel's good, I think, but you could come and you could sit here the rest of your life and never get moved by God and say, no, 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 and you hear it, but never move forward for God, and you're not moving. Or you could sit here and you could get moved by God. It's about what you do when you're in the path. It's about the people that you make connections with while you're on that path. Whether you go to the left or the right, your God, I got your back. I got your back. This is the way. Walk in. So, Tamara, do you remember Parker when he first walked? Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay. What I need, could we, I need an illustration. I was hoping Brooklyn was here. I need somebody that the parent is here with the child. Could you quickly go down and grab Parker? Sorry, guys. So what I'm trying to say here is that God's got your back. This is the way, walk in it. But we get paralyzed by choices. We don't know which way to go, but sometimes both paths are okay. It's not about the path. It's about how you walk in that path. And so now we're going to talk about what I want to do is baby steps. And do we all remember when we had children? Do you remember when your children started to walk? Do you remember that? You guys remember when your children walked? Like took the first steps. Do you remember that? You do. You guys better. I remember all of our kids taking their first step. And you were so excited, right? You were so excited. Yeah. And so we had that big video camera thing, right? That's what we had. And so Griffin, Grace, and Faith, we were all excited. I remember when they first rode their pedal bikes, when they took the training wheels. I remember all that stuff. And so I remember when Griffin, that thing when they start walking and then they fall down and then they get back up and they do a little walking. And here you are with your video camera, or nowadays your phone, you're going, you can do it, right? Remember that? Come on, you can do it, Griff. Come on, Isaiah, you can do it. Come on, Conan, you can do it. Come on, Parker, you can do it. Hi. Could you just sit here for a second? So what I'm talking about is when you first walked. And Tamara, do you remember? Did you have a video camera or anything back then?
I don't think I recorded it, no.
No. Okay. This is going to be bad.
I was pretty
Yeah, anti-technology. But you remember and say, come on, Parker, you can do it. And he stumbled probably a couple times. And then he walked. Remember that? We all shared that feeling of when our kids started to walk. And you were in front of them, like I was in front of them.
Yeah, you sit there and you're like, come on, buddy.
Exactly. And so you're trying to walk, and so they walk and they stumble a little bit. Come on up here, Parker. And so you were like, when he was little, you were like, yay, Parker, you did a good job, Parker. But you didn't even clap when he came up here.
No.
He just walked up here, and there were steps and everything.
I was excited he didn't trip.
And there were steps, and he just walked up here, no problem. But when you learn how to walk, and I'm here to tell you, and you don't even remember it, when you learn how to walk, that is some of the most uplifting praise you will ever get in your life for a little bit of what you're doing. Because you just walked up here, and your mom, I saw her even draw. She wasn't like, no big deal. She didn't clap for you to come up here. Not a big deal anymore because you've moved on. So now you've moved on. Now you know how to walk. And now God says this. Now God says this, you're walking now. You're doing something. You're not just baby steps, yay. And if you come, and I want you to understand this, if you come to church and you say, you know what, this whole God thing, I believe it, and I want him in my life, I want him to cover my mistakes, and so you ask Christ into your life, and you believe on Jesus Christ and in his power, we're going to clap for you. And if you get baptized, we're going to clap for you. And the angels of heaven are going to be screaming and yelling. It's a party when a soul comes to him. When a soul comes to Christ. There will be a party. But then as you move on, and it's not baby steps anymore, and you walked up here and nobody clapped. Not one person. When you were coming, I should have did it. Yay, Parker. Yay, you did it. You're so awesome. No, you're not. What you even did when you were walking, when you were a baby and took those steps, that wasn't much. It was basic. But it was pretty good for a baby, okay? And so the parents are always in the front of you, right? You're walking, and they're going, come on, you can do it. And that's what God does to us. That's what God does to us when we start moving in him. When we become a new believer. He's in front of you going, you can do it. You can do it. But then, he gets behind you. So hold on, you're not going anywhere. Whether you turn to the left or to the right, your ears will hear a voice behind you. Not in front of you, but behind you. And it will say, this is the way, walk in it. So, and it's close. You got to be close. God doesn't even have to touch you, but this is the way. Walk in it. Keep walking. Walk normal. You gotta walk normal. So, turn left. Turn left. Keep walking. This is the way. Walk in it. This is the way. Walk in. I didn't tell you yet. This is the way. Turn left. Keep walking. Keep walking. This is the way. Walk in it. Full turn now. Full turn. Full turn. Okay, that's good. Keep walking. He is behind you now, and he's giving you direction. But if you get too far from him, okay, just stay there. And if I went outside and I said, this is the way, walk in it, you're not going to hear. And then you're just going to be walking, and you're going to walk right off of there. God will tell you, and this is an illustration, he's not going to do that because he can see it. But in life there are things, and he has got your back. And if you are close to him, if you spend time with him, you are close and you hear his voice. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it, turn right. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. Because, okay, you can stop, stay right there. Because we are called to walk by, to tell you to turn around. We are called, don't turn around. We are called to walk by faith, not by sight. Get that? We are called to walk by faith. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. Turn right. All the way around, the other way. Yep, keep going. This is the way, walk in it. We are called to walk by faith. Stop. Not by sight. And if we get too far away, we can't hear his voice. Because I'm going to tell you another little thing. Because God's got your back. I don't know where you are, or what you're feeling, or what you're going through. If you've got some big things coming up, I want you to know, God wants you to know, I've got your back. You know why? Listen to this. I've got your back because as you're walking and as you're looking forward, I got your back, and I'm fighting things that you can't see. I'm fighting Jezebels, and I'm fighting demons, and I'm fighting everything. I'm fighting the Pharaohs in the Red Sea. I'm fighting all them things that you can't see because I got your back. And so you keep going. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it, turn left. This is the way, walk in it. I've got your back. Everything that you can't see back there, don't worry about it because I've got your back. And you can walk into this world, you can step into all this, turn around, do a turn. Keep on going. You can walk into all this thing because I spoke it all into existence, and I didn't start something that I won't finish. Thanks. Thanks, Parker. Appreciate it. Thank you. Give him a hand. This is the way, walk in it. And he wants us to do it. And it's by, we're not even Lot's wife. What was her name? What was Lot's wife? The turn. Was that it? She didn't have a name? She wasn't supposed to turn. She wasn't supposed to look back. But she did. We're not supposed to look back. Look forward. look forward, and even though we don't know what God's got in store, that's called walking by faith, listening to Him who we can't see. That is called walking by faith, not by sight. And so we all, and I'm just going to close with this. If you ever went to school, which I think all of us did you ever have a big brother that protected you ever? Anybody ever never had anybody protect you in school? You guys are tough. You guys are so tough. Well, when I went to school, I was in grade 7, and I grew up in a half-white, half-black community, and I was picking strawberries, and so you get in a row and you pick strawberries. There were some people from Southville, so they were black guys, and I didn't care. And I just thought they were awesome. But their attitudes and stuff reminded me of the guys off of Different Strokes. Willis and Arnold, was that it? Arnold and Willis? And I said that to them. You guys remind me of Arnold and Willis. Well, they took it wrong, and they thought I was making fun of them or something, and he was going to beat me up. Terry Cromwell was going to beat me up in grade 8 because he thought that was a diss to him. It wasn't at all. They reminded me of those two brothers on Different Strokes. And I was scared to death. And I remember thinking about it all the time. I needed a big brother because I was going to high school, and that guy was already in high school, Terry was, and he's going to tune me up. But Russell, my next door neighbor, he was kind of like a big brother. He said, I got your back. And when it come time when I went to school, Russell had my back. There was no beating Marty up because he kind of was a guy that nobody messed with. Terry, come, there's Marty. I want to do something about it. He said, you're doing nothing about it. And you have a big brother, and his name is Jesus Christ. We are all sons and daughters. And you have a big brother who went to bat for you 2,000 years ago and loves you today, has pursued you, came and took your place for everything that you had done wrong. You have a big brother who has your back. This week, do more than 5 minutes. Do more. Don't end up stealing bowls. Okay? Anyway, I'm taking it back. But I'll have an illustration for next week, probably. But stay close to God. Stay close to Him because He's got your back. This is the way. Walk in it. You want to be close to Him. If you're too far away, you're never going to hear it. But understand this. Whatever you are going through, He is close, and He's got your back, and He's directing you, whether to the left or to the right. He's got your back, and He's fighting, and He's taking care of the things that you don't see. Amen? Amen. Thanks. So at this time, we're going to do communion.